So hi, this is a video on what to do if you ever get or looking for a second hand model. Now this can either be coaches, however coaches are normally quite easy to see whether they're damaged because you don't have to check any motors or see if they would run alright. The same with wagons, but this is more for locomotives, so like steam and diesel. So yes. If you ever go to a gala or a model exhibition, there will more likely be more second-hand stores than there will be brand new stores selling brand new trains. However, at some stores you will be able to get brand new trains even if they are also selling second-hand trains. So you will be presented with two different types of boxes that you will see the second-hand train in. You will see either a repackaged version, so a box such as this one that isn't the original one but does give you some indication of what the train is. It will give you identification of the price, and that's normally about it. Now if it's on the back somewhere where you can't reach it, always ask the staff who are there if they can get it for you, because you will need to inspect the model. If the model is packaged quite damagedly, so quite not organised, not very neat and quite stuck in the box, that means that the model hasn't been looked after. However, if it's got foam in, it means that there's a lot of detail on it that they want to keep safe, which normally means it's a good model. So, what to do? First, inspect the model. If you see any damages, then that might indicate that the model has had a bad or rough running history, which normally means that the motor might be damaged too, but not all the time. However, if you look at it and it's in quite good external trim, that means that the model normally has had a good running life. Check all sprung buffers if you know that the model had sprung buffers, because sometimes these can be broken. However, the best thing to do with a model is check the wheels. If there is dirt or grime on the wheels, that normally means that the model won't run properly. If there's some dirt or fluff on any part of the locomotive, that normally means that it's been stored for a little while, but that's very easy to brush off. The second type of box you'll be faced with is the original packaging box. Now sometimes these can be repackaged models, so they will not be in the original box. Once again, the best thing to do is take it out. Now if it is sealed and has sellotape, always ask the person there if you can open it, but it shouldn't really be sellotaped. So always open the box to look at the model. Now normally, if they have been packaged in the retailing box, then that normally means that they've either had a long storage history, which means they have never been used, which normally means that the price might be a bit higher, or it might mean that the owner has kept the box from a good running history, meaning that they were going to sell it, which normally means that it will be in good trim, internally and externally. When you return home, the first thing you'll want to do is run the locomotive. Now that can always be good, because then you will automatically see whether you've bought a good locomotive, seeing whether it runs well or not. However, sometimes you might want to check the motor even before you put it on the track. However, one thing I do recommend is, if you are very conscious about the wheels and the pickups, you can always look at it through a magnifying glass to see if there's any marks on the wheels. If there are no marks on the wheels, this means that the engine has never been used. However, if there is marks on there, then that means that the engine has been used once before, whether it being for test running reasons or for general running purposes. However, like there being two types of boxes, there will always be two types of locomotive too. If you are one of the collectors that prefer getting older models, or if there is a model you want and you see it in an older variant, then that normally means that the engine will have gone through a very long running life, or it will have been a collector's collection, and that means that it probably hasn't been run or has been stored for a long time. Now, just from the external trim, you can tell that this engine here, being the 9F Evening Star, is in very good outer trim. However, you do not know if the motor will run. If you have a newer model, their motors are normally meant to last a very long time, whereas older models, such as this original Hornby model, it might not run very well. So always be cautious when buying older models. So here's a little bit for the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed this how-to. I've never really done one of these before. I've done how-tos where you can paint stuff, but that's not really the same as buying tips. The models that I used in this was obviously I mentioned the original Hornby 9F, which I got at a Solihull model exhibition, and I do have to admit I have been stung quite a few times by buying these older models, because I've either wanted a certain model such as Evening Star, and I knew that this one would go around my track, but it does take a while for the motor to heat up and actually go around properly. And the other one was my new Bachmann pannier tank. Now, you can't really go wrong with Bachmann products. If you do look at it and the external trim is fine, then normally that means that the inside, the motor, will be fine too, because these Bachmann engines are made to last. Whereas if you buy a Hornby model, you're not always guaranteed that. Now, I'm not saying that Hornby have bad motors, I'm just saying that normally if people have Hornby locomotives, they're normally older than, say, ones that are from Bachmann. So, I hope this has helped you. I know there are lots of tips out there for buying second-hand models, but I hope mine's helped, as most of my engines are second-hand. Just doing a rough count, I have over 13 second-hand models, and, well, 13, I think, second-hand models, and 27 out of my 27 locomotives. So that is almost half of my collection that is second-hand models. Now, those 27 are including Bachmann Thomas the Tank models and 2 Hornby Thomas the Tank models. So if you were just counting like the standard non-Thomas the Tank models, then that means you would have to take off about 10 models, I think. Oh, if that's 10, that means there's 28 models that I have in total. So yeah, I hope this has helped, and goodbye.